Hello, my name is Alex Matolsky. I am the Executive Director of the Fleeing Artists Theater, and on behalf of us, I want to welcome you to Theater Without Context. This is being done as part of Community Foundation Week, in which we are celebrating the Kenosha Community Foundation, who have been our sponsors for the past 3 years. In addition to sponsoring our theater, they have sponsored our Summer Shakespeare program, and to that end, we have decided to celebrate the foundation by presenting a series of monologues from the Shakespearean canon. And that's the only context I'm going to give you. Enjoy.
Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this sun of York, and all the clouds that lowered upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarms changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war hath smoothed his wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking-glass, I, that am rudely stamped in want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph, I, that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them, why I, in this weak piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time, unless to spy my shadow in the sun and descant on mine own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove the lover, to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove the villain and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous, by drunken prophecies, libels, and dreams, to set my brother Clarence and the king in deadly hate, the one against the other. And if King Edward should be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should Clarence closely be mewed up about a prophecy which states that G of Edward's heirs the murderer shall be. Dive thoughts down to my soul. Here Clarence comes.
The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. Becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. His scepter shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty, wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above the sceptred sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It's an attribute to God himself. And earthly power doth then show likest God's, when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which if thou follow the strict court of Venice, must needs give sentence against the merchant here.
2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch in the dead vast middle of the night, been thus encountered. A figure like your father, armed at point exactly cap a pay, appears before them, and with solemn march goes slow and stately by them. Thrice he walked by their oppressed and fear-surprised eyes within his truncheon's length. while they distill and almost to jelly with the act of fear, stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me in secrecy in part they did, and I with them the third night kept the watch where, as they had delivered, both in time, form of the thing, each word made true and good, the apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like.
When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy, contented least. Yet, in these thoughts myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark? How should I your true love know from another one? By his cockle batten staff and his sandals shim. He is dead and gone, lady, he is dead and gone. At his head a grass-green turf, and at his heels a stone. White his shroud as the mountain snow, large with all sweet flowers, which we wept to the grave did not go with true love's shower. They say the hour was a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we are, but not know what we may be. God be at your table. Pray, if they ask you, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine, all in the morning bedtime, and I am made at your window to be your Valentine. Then up he rose, and done his clothes, and docked the chamber door. Then in a maid that out a maid never departed more. I'll make an end to this. By Jesus and by Saint Charity, alack and fie for shame. Young men will do it if they come to it. By cock they ought to blame.
What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet? Mad as the sea and wind when both contend which is the mightier. In his lawless fit, behind the arras, hearing something stir, whips out his rapier and cries, "A rat! A rat!" And in this brainless apprehension, kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tell'st me there is murder in mine eye. 'Tis pretty, sure, and very probable that eyes that are the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates on enemies, should be called tyrants. But butchers, murderers. Now I do frown on thee with all my heart, and if mine eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. No! Counterfeit to swoon! Ooh. Why now, fall down, or if thou canst not, oh, for shame, lie not to say mine eyes are murderers.
I heard myself proclaimed, and by the happy hollow of a tree escaped thought. No port is free. No place that guard in most unusual vigilance does not attend my taking. Whilst I may escape, I will preserve myself, and bethought to take the basest and most poorest shape that ever penury and contempt of man brought near to beast. My face, all grimed with filth. Blanket my loins. Elf all my hair in knots, and with presented nakedness I'll face the winds and persecutions of the sky. The country give proof and president of Bedlam beggars, who, with roaring voices, strike in their numb and mortified bare arms. Pins, wooden pricks, nails, sprigs of rosemary. And with this horrible object, from low farms, poor pelting villages, sheep cots and mills, sometime with lunatic bands, sometime with prayers, enforce their charity. Poor Charlie God, poor Tom! There's something yet. Edgar, I nothing am.
Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thou comest to use thy tongue. Thy story quickly.
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou sayest there is murder in mine eye. 'Tis pretty, sure, and very probable that eyes that are the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates on atomies, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now, I do frown on thee with all my heart, and if mine eyes can wound, then let them kill thee. Now, counterfeit to swoon, why now fall down, or if thou canst not, for shame, lie not to say mine eyes are murderers. Now show me the wound mine eye hath left in thee. Scratch thee but with a pin, there remains some scar of it. Lean upon a rush, the cicatrice incapable in pressure, thy palm leaves a moment. But mine eyes, which I have just darted at thee, hurt thee not, nor, I am sure, there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
And that concludes theater without context. I want to thank you all so very much for tuning in to watch this, either live or after the fact. Thank you so much, and a tremendous thank you to our actors for their submissions. This project was done very last minute. We conceived it a little over a week ago and have been accepting submissions over the past week. And so, thank you, actors, for answering the call. We couldn't have done this without you. Thank you. And a big thank you to our sponsor, and a big congratulations for Kenosha Community Foundation on Community Foundation Week. We wish you success the rest of the week. It lasts through November 18th. If you liked this and would like to see more, please consider giving us a like. More importantly, give us a subscription and smash that bell, as the kids say. Anyway, I'm not a YouTuber. But really, give us a subscription if you feel like it. Maybe follow us on Facebook. We'd really appreciate it. That way you can keep up with our upcoming projects, including God of Carnage by Yasmina Reza, A Christmas Carol, adapted by me but written by Charles Dickens, and A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. That's everything. Thank you again so much for tuning in. We could not do what we do without you. Stay safe out there. Take care.